In the wilds of November 2021, an unassuming show about the feral nature of teenage girls became a smash hit for Showtime. Yellowjackets exploded onto the scene, inspiring thousands of fan theories and devoted viewership who couldn't get enough of the dueling timelines, gruesome wilderness action, and a cast of 90s icons and a few new fresh faces. But with a story that spans decades, a massive lineup of characters, and lots of culty goodness to keep up with, you might need a refresher before the season returns.
So what does it mean?
Just like the wilderness provides for some of our young survivors, we're here to get you up to speed with the atmospheric, blood-soaked events of Yellowjackets Season 1.
In order to move forward, we must first look back. Our teachers, our friends, but they were more than that. They were strong. They were courageous.
It all begins as a young girl runs barefoot through a snowy forest chased by unknown assailants. Her ragged-breathed quest for survival takes her deeper and deeper into the woods until she falls into a waiting trap. Soon, her killers feast on her flesh. Season 1's primary mystery revolves around this death and the apparent cannibals who descend upon the corpse. Time to meet the potential cannibals and victims. Part of Yellowjackets' charm is its dual timelines and cast. In 1996, a girls' high school soccer team is preparing for the national championships. The team's captain and obvious queen bee, Jackie, her best friend and sidekick Shauna, the enigmatic and furious Thaisa, punk outsider Natalie, stoic goalkeeper Van, the overtly faithful good girl Laura Lee, and the wealthy shy girl Lottie. The core team is rounded out by Mari and Akila.
All right, hustle up. It's gonna be a long flight.
Their journey to the competition is cut short when their plane falls from the sky, crashing into the wilderness. The team are the only survivors, along with sons of their now-dead coach, Travis and Hobby, as well as the hunky assistant coach Ben and the Yellowjackets' overenthusiastic equipment manager, Misty. Now, flash forward to the modern day.
It's really living.
Shauna is an unsatisfied housewife married to Jackie's teenage sweetheart, Jeff. Thaisa is a successful rising politician, Natalie is a recovering addict, and Misty is a caregiver for elderly folks. Their fragile, normal lives are turned upside down when they begin to receive strange blackmail notes alluding to their time in the woods at the same time as a journalist begins sniffing around.
5 minutes. That's all I ask. If you don't like what I have to say, I will leave you alone.
These developments are the most worrying to Misty, who we quickly learned was definitely one of the alleged cannibals in a brief glimpse of her blood-stained face back in 1996. She also condemned her fellow survivors to 19 months in the wild when she destroyed the black box and the GPS from their plane within the first few days of arriving. Despite the secrets she has to hide, Nat suspects Misty of sending the creepy notes, which feature a symbol from their Survivor era.
So what does it mean? You tell me.
But the pair quickly realize that's not the case and embark on an odd couple mystery to discover the truth. Speaking of unexpected pairings, after rear-ending a young hunk named Adam, Shauna begins an affair that quickly ramps up and sets her on a dangerous path, especially as Adam is pretty shady and reminded many viewers of the youngest survivor of the crew, Hobby. His brother Travis is Misty and Nat's first stop, but they find him dead, and while it appears suicide, the pair realize a strange ritual was committed right under his body.
Travis didn't believe in any of this shit.
The tragic discovery of her ex-boyfriend sends the addict Nat into a spiral and pushes Misty to extreme lengths.
Misty!
The mystery of what happened in the woods is a national curiosity that all of the women have tried to leave behind. But that's becoming harder than ever for Thaisa.
What really happened out there?
She's accused of being a cannibal by the politician she's running against, revealing there are at least rumors about what we saw on screen.
The only real way is by cannibalizing your tax dollars, paid for by Phil Bowers.
And her son Sammy is suffering strange and terrifying visions of a creature he calls
Wait in the tree.
In 1996, we start to get a picture of how the survivors lasted through the winter as they discover a cabin replete with a dead body that inspires worries of hauntings and fateful seance that tips Lottie over the edge into believing she's possessed. It's not the first time that Lottie has been close to the supernatural, though, as we learn the young schizophrenic woman has a history of visions, including one that saved her family's life. While teenage Jackie slides down to the forest's new social ladder in favor of creepy survivalist Misty, Shauna becomes closer to Hobby. Nat and Travis start a classic enemies to lovers romance when the group run out of food, and the two take on the role of hunters thanks to Nat's knowledge of guns.
I hear it's beaver season.
And Van and Ty continue to explore their pre-crash love story. In spite of the disastrous situation, nature takes its course and all the girls' periods sync up.
Bloody soldiers on the left and breakfast on the right, okay?
But one of them is distinctly left out.
I'm late this month.
Turns out that she's pregnant and the father is her best friend forever, Jackie's boyfriend. That is going to end badly for everyone. While the girls are distracted by cramps, Misty is poisoning assistant coach Ben in a haunting attempt to keep the pair close. But he quickly realizes the truth and tries to play her in order to survive. She doesn't take it well when he reveals that he's gay and has no love for the young woman and her manipulative ways.
I don't love you, I love Paul.
And it turns out, Misty's sociopath behavior is not confined only to the past.
What made you finally want it?
You see, adult Misty's response to the blackmail threat is to kidnap, poison, and trap the inquiring journalist Jessica in her basement. But there's a problem. She's not who she says she is, as she's a private investigator hired by Ty to check that no one was going to spill about the woods while she was running for office.
By the way, Travis was murdered. Let me go and I'll tell you everything I know.
Misty has no interest in letting Jessica go, though, and this clearly isn't the first non-consensual guest she's kept in her home. Misty isn't the only one losing her grip, though. It's revealed that Ty has been sleep climbing the tree outside her son's room and eating dirt, something she also did in the wilderness, revealing that she is in fact the lady in the tree. It is a huge hint that all is not well with the most outwardly together of the group. Her trauma is understandable when we learn that her quest to escape the woods all those years ago, she unintentionally led her lover Van into the jaws of a wolf. Though it seemed the brutal attack would leave Van dead, she survived, cementing the beliefs of the supernatural sect of the group, who believed Lottie had foreseen the attack in a vision and freaking out Ty and her friends.
French? Since when does Lottie speak French?
Van's survival, and Jackie's choice to reveal to the group that Shauna is pregnant, inspires Laura Lee to enact a scheme that she'd been stewing over, fixing up an old plane and trying to fly out of the woods. While it seems for a moment that it just might work, the plane explodes above the lake. To most of the girls, it's a tragedy, but to Lottie, it's a sign. The woods will not let them leave. In the modern day, the group try to catch their blackmailer to no avail, but their plan does ultimately lead to Shauna making a shocking revelation. Her husband, Jeff, was behind it all.
Okay, I can explain this.
He needed money to help his business and came up with the plan after finding Shauna's journals. Unfortunately, she realizes this a little too late, literally moments after murdering her lover Adam, who she began to suspect knew too much about her time in the forest. Ever the planner, Shauna decides to lie to her friends and say she killed Adam because he was the blackmailer.
You were seeing somebody around the time that all of us were getting blackmailed, and you didn't think to mention it?
This protects Jeff, who she tells about the murder as the pair argue about his blackmail scheme.
What? There's no book club?
And she manages to rope her friends into getting rid of the body in one fell swoop.
Do you still remember how to do that?
If this seems like a bit of a criminal turn for the crew, you only need to look back to the nightmarish doom-coming party the girls threw for themselves in the woods to learn that this isn't her first brush with violence. The team accidentally drugged themselves, minus Jackie, with Misty's mushroom poison. They then hunt, trap, abuse, and almost kill Travis, and commune with nature in a terrifyingly feral way. This is a monumental moment as it cements Nat and Travis's relationship. She saves him from Shauna, slitting his throat, and sets up Jackie's ultimate demise as the group turn on her and tell her to sleep outside. It's also the last time anybody saw poor Javi, a mystery that'll definitely continue in Season 2.
Run.
After getting rid of Adam's body in the present, the foursome head to their school reunion.
How is it possible that this is the most scared I've been all day?
It's here during the finale that we learn that Jackie didn't survive her night outside the cabin, instead freezing to death. It wreaks havoc on the group and splits them into two clear groups. Lottie's wilderness-worshipping cult starring Dan and Misty, and Thaisa's more logical survivors. Things honestly aren't looking that much better in the present, as the wider world catches on to Adam's disappearance, including Shauna's daughter Callie, who had seen her mother and Adam together. Misty murders the journalist, Jessica, with a poisoned cigarette, and Natalie gets kidnapped by people wearing cozy sweaters as she receives a call that Lottie wiped Travis's bank account.
What?
In a shocking final twist, Ty wins the election in an upset, and it looks like she might have had some supernatural help. As Ty grins in victory, her wife finds a shrine with the head and bloody remains of her missing dog under their home.
How?
Back in the forest, we get a tease that Lottie may well be the cannibal leader as she takes her believers into the woods, presents a bear heart from the creature she killed earlier for all the girls to eat, and uses its heart as an offering to the wilderness. As they conduct their ritual, Lottie says the final line of the season, the very culty phrase,
"And let the darkness set us free."
And take a deep breath, you're gonna need it when Yellowjackets Season 2 hits on March 26th. And for everything else, stick with IGN.